And in my case, I mean, there are people that are kind of like Lee was to Dan. Like, there are people in my existence who do just call me periodically to check in and see if I'm okay. Well, I mean, it's definitely no secret that the Renegade Musician, at the very least the title, although definitely aspects of the content, were inspired by Dan Kennedy's Renegade Millionaire. I've learned a great deal from Dan Kennedy. I've read many of his books. I've listened to some of his programs. I've taken some of his courses. I would love to say I've done all of it, but I'm just not there yet. There's a lot of stuff to go through. But the story behind Renegade Millionaire and how that book came together is actually quite fascinating. So Dan Kennedy has an inner circle of friends or people that were part of Glacier Kennedy Insider Circle, GKIC. I think Dan's the kind of guy that's somewhat of a recluse, so it's not like he keeps in close touch with everyone all the time, but he's got a limited number of people that check up on him and see if he's live and that kind of thing. And one of those people was Lee Milteer. So I don't know if Lee approached Dan with the idea of creating this book, which is totally possible, or if Dan gave Lee the task of going through a whole ton of stuff to construct and to put this book together on behalf of Dan. So it's somewhat of a collaborative project between Dan and Lee. And the foreword is by Adam Whitty, who also happens to be in the publishing and the book business as well. And in my case, I mean, there are people that are kind of like Lee was to Dan. Like, there are people in my existence who do just call me periodically to check in and see if I'm okay. But the book itself, like, I worked on the whole thing and I had bits and pieces of it. I wrote some of it through the pandemic. Digital marketing is really the perfect complement to being a renegade musician. Yes, it has a lot to do with psychology and mindset, but it also has a lot to do with one's acumen and competence in a few different areas. So it all started to take form. And like I said, the title and some of the content was certainly inspired by Dan Kennedy. But I've pulled in all kinds of studies and statistics and inspiration and many of my learnings, which came through people like Derek Sivers and James Schramko. It all comes together to create this perfect cocktail or this perfect stew of learning that allows one to go through a process of transformation personally and to become more skilled and adept at things like marketing and communication and PR and becoming leaders in their community. And that's the end goal of the Renegade Musician.